Hi everybody, Sanbonani. Welcome to my channel. Listen, you guys, I'm early in the office, so I thought let me take this time to do the story time that I had promised a few people that asked for it when I shared it. I was once in a cult, okay? So I don't know how far I'm gonna go with the story because I don't know how long the story is going to be. So if I run out of time, maybe I'll do part two, okay? And okay, let me start by saying this, okay? I did not leave this group that I'm going to talk about today because of it being a cult. Okay, at the time I didn't know it was a cult. I left because I was unhappy, and I left because I felt out of place. I didn't feel like it was a place that supported who I was or who I was growing to be as a person, and a couple of months after I left, then there was a big media thing that came out about this group. And when that happened, this one brother who was actually my friend, who had also left, had sent me links to this article that had came out about the church, and some YouTube videos that had been done about the church, and just saying, look what's happening with the church now. And the reason that he had sent it to me is that we had had some conversations about things that I think we were questioning when it came to the church, and him more than me, because for me, I wasn't really questioning things that I wasn't questioning the way that they were doing things in the church. It was just that I was unhappy. But with him, he was, I think, excommunicated from the church because he was asking a lot of questions. And he had shared some of it with me after he had left, but he would mostly say that, I don't like sharing what I was questioning about the church, but I just want people to know that when I questioned things, they were not willing to give me answers, and so I left. And so when the whole media thing happened with the church, he had shared that with me because he thought that, finally he could say what he was questioning. I was like, this is what I was actually asking. These are the questions that I was actually asking about the church. And finally, this is coming out now that this is actually a cult and all of that, you guys. So, yes, I want that to be understood that I didn't leave because it was a cult. Maybe I would have left after I found out. I don't know. And also, I want to be clear to say that this is something that happened in my 20s, like late teens, like early 20s, because I was at varsity. And I don't want somebody to watch this video and be like, if they are trying things out when it comes to attending church and attending Bible studies or whatever it is, and feel like maybe they shouldn't be in those groups that they are in because maybe they are misleading them. When it comes to finding yourself, I believe that as you are growing, you get more and more comfortable with who you are. And in your 20s and early 30s, you're really just getting to know who you are. And you might try things, you might go to this church, you might join this society, that later on you might think, I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have been there. I shouldn't have been part of that society. I shouldn't have been part of that church. I shouldn't have been part of that Bible group. But it's all part of you finding yourself. So at the end of the day, had I not been part of that group, I probably wouldn't know certain things about myself. So in a way, I don't regret that I did. So I don't want you to feel like now, if you are in some church and now maybe you also going to feel like it's a cult and then you should live in. No, it's just part of your journey. But I'm just sharing part of my journey. So this is what happened, you guys. When I moved to Res, I was at Vets University, moved to Res. So I moved in a little bit later than a lot of people because it took time for me to actually get funding for my studies. So then when at TEFSA at the time, because it used to be TEFSA, UNSFAS people. At the time when I got it, then I could get res. So when I moved to res, obviously a lot of people had already settled. I was staying at Sunnyside. Those who went to vet would know about Sunnyside, the residents inside. It was an in-source resident. I went to Sunnyside. So people are already settled. People already have friends. People know what they do during weekends. I'm trying to figure things out, what's happening here. And so kwenziwani ngama-weekends, what do people do to entertain themselves? So I was in there because I had moved in late at res. Obviously I didn't get a single room, nor did I get a double room. I got a triple room. So there were three of us in the room, and the two other girls were not first years, and I was the first year. And also those two other girls were like party girls, party girls, like drinking during the week, not attending classes. I think by the end of that year, both of those girls had dropped out, and one of them dropped out because she was pregnant. The other one was just drinking a lot at some point, kwabhalwa exams njena, those kinds of girls. So when I moved in Ares, I already could see what these ones. They're not the kind of people that I was gonna hang out with. Not that I was judging them. It was just I wasn't that kind of a person. Okay, so while we're sitting there at res and we get a knock at the door, we open the door. There is two girls there, and was it two girls? Okay, I think it was just one. Okay, I'll call this girl Uchi because I don't want to mention her name, but she actually became my friend. Even after I left church, we were friends for a couple of years. We lost touch like maybe 2 years ago. And she also left church a while ago. So she knocks at the door. Hi guys. She just stands there by the door and hi guys and friendly. And I just wanted to invite. She was speaking English. Actually, she is Venda. And advices you always end up speaking English because obviously it's the mix. Okay, guys, I would like to invite you to a Bible talk. Uh, uh, in my room at this particular time. Maybe it was like maybe 15, 20 minutes before the Bible talk was supposed to take place. So she invites us, and but because I had just moved into res, I think honestly she was targeting the girls that I was roommates with because obviously they're party girls. I think they were trying to convert those girls. Party girls, lababaziwayo nje erezi and stuff. And I think those girls, because they were trying to get out of going to the Bible talk, because of course they don't have time for Bible talk, okay? So they say, don't you want to go? Me. And yeah, figure is, I'm like, why not? I'm like, well, see which room. And she gives me the room number. But she says to them, but you guys too, I'm inviting you to, okay, fine. They're like, oh, no, we'll see. And then I'm like, oh, no, I'll come. I think I said I'll come. Oh, no, I didn't say I'll come, but I said I'll see because she was surprised to see me when I came. Okay. So the time comes for the time where she says they were gonna have a Bible talk. I go to her room. I was on the ground floor. I think Sunside was like 3 floors. There was like basement, and then first floor and ground floor and first floor. So I go upstairs and I go to a room, and I find her and the other girl who look like like when somebody looks like they're not a student because the hair is done and they look a little bit formal, and you're like, I look a phela is like nizigqokela like jeans, phaqa njena and t-shirts, and I'm like, okay, this one is not a student. She didn't look like a student. And this is M. I will call her M. Okay. So M looked like she was colored, and I assumed when I saw her that she is colored. Okay, so she was there, and I think someone else. Okay, I can't remember. So I'm thinking, I was under the impression that there was going to be quite a few people because they were going around inviting people. But I think it ends up being like the four of us, the two of them, the girl that came to invite us, G, and M, the girl that for me I thought she was colored because she looked colored because of her hair and just in her features. I thought okay, and yes, and I think some other girl too. So we sit, and then the Bible talk starts. Okay. And then what? I was surprised because she had a roommate. Her room setup was different from ours because ours, it was a triple room, but it was just one big room with three beds, three wardrobes, and a bathroom at the corner. Okay, there was the advantage with having a triple was that you would have your own bathroom, while the others that had singles at the time had to share bathroom, common bathrooms. But their room was different. It was one of the few rooms that was different. It was one of those connected rooms. It was one room, but there's a door to the other side of the room, and then they had their own bathroom too. Okay, so I was like, oh, this is a much nicer room. I would like to be in a space like that because I'm somebody that likes my space. So what surprised me at that time, or what was strange, was that the roommate was there, but she did not join the Bible talk. She just stayed in her room, which was not really the other room because it was just the wall there and you know, the division of the rooms. It was like it's the same room, but at least you have a little bit of your own space there. So she did not join the Bible talk. Okay, fine. We sit. They open the Bible. Of course, I did not have a Bible, you guys. At home, we have a Christian background because sikhulele ekhaya kiwe esontweni, sikhulele Zion. My father used to be a very important member of the Zion Church when he was still alive. I don't know if he was in Fundis. My father died when I was young, but I remember him. Nomnazaretha wasezayoni, and that's besinemnazaretha yasezayoni. So that is our Christian background. My mother got born again later on in life, like after my father had passed, and later on, like, when I was actually even working now when my father, but we have a background of inkonzo yasezayoni ekhaya. That's what we knew. So Christianity was not a strange thing. We knew good Christianity, that's what you go for comfort, to seek guidance and all of that stuff. So it wasn't strange when somebody's going to open the Bible. At the same time, I never had my own Bible. Being a Bible ekhaya, but I never had my own Bible. So if I'm gonna move into res, I'm not even thinking that I need to own a Bible because a Bible ifundwe esontweni. It wasn't like every day you need to be reading the Bible kind of thing. No. Okay. Even at home, I don't remember, like, let's say my mother says, let's pray. We would just pray. There wouldn't be like kufundwa izwi ekhaya, no. So I think at home we did have a Bible, but I did not have a Bible myself. Also at home, like within Konzo Zion, yes, it's Christianity, it's church, but it's very much mixed. Zion is a mix, and you do whatever works for you. And I remember, my father used to like doing that. So there wasn't that thing, just because you're a Christian, then strict, and so yeah. Anyway, guys, we do a Bible talk. They open the Bible, they read the verse. The way that the Bible talk would be like for that church. By the way, because I did not say that, the name of the church was ICOC, which International Churches of Christ. Okay, we should just call it Church of Christ. And obviously, this was a campus ministry that I was about to join. So they open a Bible. The way that it will be structured, whoever is leading the Bible talk will open the Bible, read the scripture, and then it will be a discussion. So you wouldn't feel like you're not part of the church. You wouldn't feel like they are preaching to you, but they actually are, because obviously they know how a discussion is going to go. They will ask questions. Even those that are part of the church will be answering questions, and will be answering questions. You're thinking, no, this is just people generally discussing the Bible. You're not thinking you're being recruited, So we discussed it. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about that? I don't remember the verse that they read, but I think I remember that the point that they were trying to make was for me to understand how important reading the Bible was, and that it was important to read the Bible on a daily basis. It's important to own the Bible. I remember them recommending that I get the Bible myself. You guys, my memory might run out of this phone, and then if it cuts before I say this is the end of the video, then understand it's gonna be we're gonna have the next part. Okay, fine. So they do that. I remember at the end them just I'm thinking casually, it's just Christians saying, listen, it's a good idea to own the Bible. It's a good idea to actually get to read the Bible on a daily. I enjoyed that Bible thing. But I thought that that was it, you guys. They did not invite me to church or anything like that. It was just, you know, we did the Bible talk. I went to my room, okay? And I do think that at the time, G was a new, because you, in the church, you are called a disciple. Once you are baptized, you are called a disciple. I do think that G was a new disciple because the rule in the church is that once you do that initial Bible, someone attends that initial Bible talk, you follow up on them, you make sure that now you invite them for a one-on-one study. And she did not do that. She did not put pressure on me like that. But that was a thing with the church. They are invited to a Bible talk so that they can invite you to a Bible study, so that you could do all of these like a sequence of studies that lead to you getting baptized and becoming part of the church and becoming a disciple. And I think that G was a new disciple. Ours had study, like they will call you your, like if you are studying the Bible with someone, that is your study. You will be somebody's study. So ours her study. So I think that at the time she was supposed to do that, follow up with me, but she did not put that pressure, which later on I will find out that you would have to do put on somebody so that they can become a full member of the church. And the person that was leading the Bible study was the lady that was colored, which later on, because before we began with the Bible study, they introduced themselves, where they're from, and all of that. And I found out that she was from, I think she said Zimbabwe, because I remember, I think at the time I wasn't really aware of the fact that, you think in Zimbabwe you only find like, dark skinned, um, typical Zimbabweans like me. Maybe I could be from Zimbabwe, but I didn't think that she could be from Zimbabwe looking like that. I think she said she was from Zimbabwe, but definitely one of the African countries. And the way that she looked, it really surprised me that she was from there. But then when she said it, then the accent, because the accent, yes, that's another thing that had surprised me about her, was that her accent was not like the typical colored accent, like South African colored accent. So I was surprised. It's okay. So where is she from? When she said, okay, she's from whatever, and she was full time in the ministry. Okay, full time in the ministry means that that is your job. They actually get paid. They work in the church. They actually got paid. I've always wondered to see how their salaries look like. But when the whole thing came out about the church being a cult, it actually came out that there's a lot of money that people paid as contribution to the church that goes into people's salaries. Okay, so yes, you guys. So that was it for that day. I don't know. I don't remember them inviting me to church, which they were supposed to do, because I know from being a member of the church that's what you're supposed to do after a person attends Bible talk. I don't remember them inviting me for a one-on-one now. Okay, but that's it. And it could be that they did invite me to church, but that weekend I was gonna go because my sister lived in Joburg, and sometimes like weekends, because I wasn't used to people at rest, I would just want to go to my sister's place during the weekend. So I think it could be that maybe they invited me, and maybe I said I was gonna go to my sister's place, and I don't know. But weekend comes, I go to my sister's place. Okay, and okay, fine. And then my sister is telling me about how she met these people and was invited to this church. It really was great. My sister was not a church person, not at all, not a church person at all. Okay, I think she was. I think last time she was at church before then was when she was a child. My sister is much older than me. Okay, she was working at the time. So in Joburg, I had her as a family member. So she tells me, I've been invited to this church. Oh, it was so nice. It's the first time I see a church like that. People are so friendly. It's so nice the way that they pray. She's impressed by everything that's happening with this church. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, well, I would like to attend that church that impressed her, because she wasn't a church person. Fine, and then she says, these ladies are going to come because we're doing these Bible studies and I'm like, okay. And my sister lived in Yeovil at the time. She had a place there, okay. And then they come. I was in the bedroom because obviously they have to do this Bible study. I'm not connecting at all that it had anything to do with, the other group that I had. attended a Bible talk with. Then, so they're doing a Bible study. I think they were sitting in the lounge. And then I don't know if I had to go to the kitchen. And then when I went to the kitchen, I'm seeing these ladies. I think there was like three of them, looking all, formal and all of that. And so I'm looking at them. And then the third one, I'm like, hi, but I know you. And then she's looking at me too, like, I know you. And I'm like, yeah, I know you from vet. I attended a Bible talk with you. And she's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. What a coincidence. Like, oh, so what are you doing here? I'm like, oh, this is my sister's house. My sister's like, yeah, this is my sister. She's like, oh, what a coincidence. Okay. So, fine. They do the Bible study with my sister, whatever. The weekend ends. And I think she went to church on Sunday, which I didn't go because I was going to go back to res. I go back to res. Okay. And then G invites me to, they used to go, there's a place called the Fountain at Wits University. Um, right next to the library. What was the library called, you guys? Oh, I can't remember. But there was the place called the Fountain or the Stairs where every like lunchtime everybody used to meet so that they could go invite people to church and just hang out and socialize and whatever fellowship they used to call it fellowshipping. Okay. And then she invites me to that, we'll be hanging out there, come with me. And we go there. And then when we get there, there is M again. So basically, OM was full time in the ministry, but for some reason she wasn't on campus, but she participated in campus ministry somehow. So she discipled some people on campus. Okay. So when you become a member of the church, you will get somebody that will disciple you. As a disciple, you will have somebody that disciples you, which means every week you meet with this person, confess your sins, find out your progress. Are you reading your Bible? All of that. But as the story goes, you guys will understand all of that. So she was a disciple, some people's discipler on campus. Okay, so she was hanging around campus a lot. So when I got there, she's there. She's like, don't you wanna? Oh, then we get to talking, and then she says to me, because I had seen her at my sister's place as well. She's like, oh no, we need to meet and do a Bible study. So I'm thinking it's a Bible talk. Like they're all gonna be there. Even G's gonna be there. She says, we need to meet and do a Bible study, but, I have some people that I'm meeting today. Can we go with you to go home with you? I'm like, home, what do you mean? She's like, Yeovil, and then you can come back in the morning, and then this evening we'll do a Bible talk. Now I'm getting excited because a lot of the people there, guys, will be fun people. They will be friendly, and remember, I'm new on campus, so find a group of people that you can hang out with and they are friendly and all of that. It's great. So I'm like, okay, because I'm thinking when she says home, Yeovil, she's saying, because she had said that they also lived in Yeovil. So I'm thinking she's saying that we can go do a Bible study at her place and then I can sleep at my sister's place. Because I'm not thinking that the person that just met me wants me to spend the night at their place when I don't know them. Also, I'm thinking G, because now G, I was getting used to G and we were becoming friends. I'm seeing her on campus. Sometimes I'm seeing her in the dining hall and she comes and sits with me. And all of that. Sometimes she's calling my room to be like, do you have, 2 slices of bread and whatever. Yeah, khumbula indlela yase-resi in between in between our meals, because there will be people at the time. I think I was eating breakfast, lunch, and supper. There were people that will only be having option to eat breakfast and supper, and then in between they don't have food. So if you are the one that has takes lunch, then they will, you will bring more from the dining hall. So yeah, so I'm getting it. So I'm thinking she's gonna be there. There's other ladies there, the cars there. We're going to be going to their place, and oh no guys, no. I wasn't clear that I was gonna sleep there. Okay, I thought that we were gonna go and they were gonna bring me back, and also she was gonna be there, and the people on campus that I was getting used to, they were gonna be there. But when we get there, because I got in one of the cars with some other people, and we get there. No, 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 there wasn't. Did we get in the cars? Because not a lot of people had cars. But we get there, you guys. Anyway, but I'm thinking that everybody that was at the fountain is also going. But I get there, and it's only these ladies and me, and where is G? And then I don't know what she said, what happened with G, but G was not gonna come. And then I'm looking at the time, I'm thinking it's around 5 or whatever. And so I'm thinking, you know, I need to be getting back to res, So if we're still gonna do the Bible study, can we do the Bible study so that I can get back to res? But she says, no, don't worry, you can sleep over here. And then I'm like, I'm not comfortable with that. But since my sister's place is right, it's a walking distance from there. Even though I would have needed someone to walk me there because it was getting late, I was like, no, I wanna go to my place. But they insist, that no, sleep here. It's Okay, remember, guys, I don't have a face cloth. I don't have nothing because I thought we're just going there, we're coming back. Also, I'm surprised now she's not there. But it's just women, they're being friendly and all of that. And I'm like, okay, let me just get over this Bible study thing. But this time now, I'm uncomfortable. And it's starting to feel like they are pushy. And the person that I'm most comfortable with is G, who's not here. you know and yeah, you guys, let me just say that this is gonna be the first part because it's gonna be long. So yeah, you guys, so join me in the next part when I tell you what happens after that, okay?